represented by brother Afzal and then his co-fellow Mr. Rashid. Sorry, I'm pronouncing it Arshid. So Rashid, it was a tremendous that the content was in plenty, although the time was limited. They have tried their level best to communicate it, but I was interested at the end. Actually, I have quoted Dr. Crescens. So because in the process of second language acquisition, my actually entire concentration is in that perspective. I was visualizing that the way he has given the concept of mother tongue. So obviously it is related to the flesh and blood of the mother, like it is the first learning stage, or you can say that from the lap of the mother you are acquiring that particular first language. You are spending that time of 2 to 3 years within your parents, and then your siblings, and as well as the family grandparents, and then the family atmosphere that has some sort of impact on your language acquisition. So once we say the language acquisition and the native speaker, the immediate perception that develops in our mind is of the native speaker of English. But here Sir Rashid has very beautifully described this. You may take in the context of your own indigenous languages like Punjabi. In Punjabi culture, obviously your mother is by birth, you are introduced to the Punjabi language, and here you have to decide which language is actually the dominant one, that is your home language, and then you can say that you have to develop some sort of competency in that, and that competency will define your first language, because simultaneously you have been exposed to the different language, semantically, like Arabic stuff. Being a Muslim, we are sending our kids at the very initial stage to the madrasas, so they are having some sort of exposure with the Arabic language, but that is supposed to be after 3 years or 4 years. But gradually the first encounter that they have had initially, that is with their mother tongue. So if they are acquiring Punjabi at the initial stage, so here I would like to quote Van Dyke. He has actually discussed it at 3 levels. Mostly we were discussing the cultural linguistics and its impact on the language. So I mean, how culture is having some sort of impact on language. So here we say the social structure. Culture is part of the society, so social structures are there. So Van Dyke here says there is no direct relationship between the social structure and the linguistic structure. Most of the people are considering that there is some sort of direct relationship between the social structure and the linguistic structure. He says no, there is a cognitive interface between these two domains, like we say social
Cognitive interface
yes,
is also through culture.
yes, the mental, yes, the subjective mental model of an individual. Here sir was time and again mentioning the cognitive structures, the cognitive development. So culture has some sort of impact on your cognitive development. This is how your cognition is in a position to define, and that is also subjective. Subjective mean it varies. Idiolect, once we say the social act, impact of the social norms, tradition, values, and you can say that the culture is also there, and cultural values, they have some sort of impact on your cognition. And then the cognitive structure is there. Your cognitive structure is developing on the basis of that social structure or culture structure. So through that cognitive structure you are actually using the linguistic structure as well. So you are trying to understand the linguistic structure through the interface of the cognitive structures. So I mean, once we say within a family, we know the siblings that they have different perceptions about a same point, maybe about a single agenda. They have different viewpoints because their cognitive development is different. So this is how. And when it comes to the varieties, we are discussing in the context of the indigenous varieties, even across the border, like the many nations, the world English is like they have developed their own varieties, and then their own culture reflection is there within their mentality, their mental models, and this is how they are trying to grasp the language. So obviously you are supposed to keep in mind the three structures: the social structure, the cognitive structure, and then comes the linguistic structure. So I mean, if you
They are all interrelated.
yes, if you will try to understand the linguistic structure and the social structure and cultural structure through cognitive structure, it will be quite easy for you to understand. Like you say, there are the difference, some sir was actually mentioning, maybe there are some terminologies like this Christmas bunny and then some other concept, they are totally indifferent to us. Why they are indifferent to us? The thing is that we don't have the contextual knowledge, the basic concept behind those traditions. Being a Muslim, that there are some justified true beliefs. I have actually quoted that one over there. I mean, whatsoever the justified true beliefs for the Muslim communities are, maybe they are not there for the Christian community, and whatsoever the justified true beliefs are there for the Christian community or the Jewish community, they are totally indifferent to us because we don't have the background knowledge. In the process of the great sacrifice of Ismail alayhi Islam, the way we are celebrating Eid al Adha, to commemorate that great sacrifice, so